Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 59 of Chance Ball, and this one is titled Hunter Fueji. Quick side note, Hunter is made up, so don't fall in love with him. I'm kidding. Darby and him are going to have an interesting time together on the team. You'll find out soon. Wednesday evening, you waited nervously at home for Darby to appear. Oh, he's taking so long. I hope that's a good thing, you thought, looking out the window for the 20th time. Finally, the car headlights appeared down the road and pulled into your driveway, and you raced out to meet him at the car. As he hopped out, you saw he had the Blue Flames league clothes on, and you screamed with excitement. You did it! You did it! Did you get onto the team? You have the uniform on! Yeah, he chuckled, obviously happy that he had successfully made it onto the team. What about that guy? Did you see him? Yeah, he's a freaking good player, arsehole. Darby grunted, making you laugh again. I'm so happy you made it onto the team. That's awesome, you said with a smile as you kept your arms around his middle and grinned up at him. You're a professional player now. I haven't even played a game yet, he said. I don't care. You're still a professional in my eyes, you replied. You're a simp, he snorted with amusement, bending his head down to kiss your lips. Let's go out for dinner to celebrate, he said excitedly, letting go of him and turning to run back inside. I can think of something better than for going out for dinner, he smirked, grabbing at your ass as you ran away from him. No, not now! I need something in my belly, he replied, smacking his hand away. What if I rail you hard enough it'll hit you in your belly? He smirked. No, I pledge my allegiance to chicken nuggets. Get away from me, Satan! Harsh, but fair. He shrugged, giving up and pushing his hands into his pockets of his new gym pants. As you'd expect, the uniform was all black, sporting electric blue panels down the side with electric blue stitching and the number 2 on the back in white with blue edging. Number 2! You squealed when you saw the number on his shirt. It's caused a bit of a stir, he said. That guy wasn't happy about it. What's his name? You asked. Fueji. Darby replied. Hunter Fueji. Been on the team for a while, but hasn't really gotten anywhere. I heard he had tried out for the MSBY Black Jackal team because his friends are on the team, but he didn't get a place. Who are his friends? You asked curiously. You knew some of the players on the team, but only by face and name, not personally. The Mia twins, Darby replied. They're relatively well known. Yeah, I've heard of them, he replied. Well, hopefully he can swallow his pride for a bit. Too bad they didn't get to wear number 2. He was low-key pissed, but I'll show him that I'm better than him anyway, Darby said with a shrug, pulling his shirt up and off to change before going out for dinner. The scarring across his back drew your attention, and you took a second to admire him, your eyes lidding with your bottom lip between your teeth as you watched his back muscles flex while he changed. He quickly pulled his new top on, and then turned around with a hand sliding through his hair to ruffle it a bit. Then, with a crooked smile, he jerked his head towards the door. You ready? He asked. Let's go, he said with a smile. Over the next few weeks, Darby got acquainted with the team, and you got promoted to manager of the corner store. Your boss was getting older, and he was looking for someone to take on a little more work, as he was finding it hard to keep up with everything. So, seeing as you were the oldest of his employees, he decided to ask you first. You said yes. Along with the manager position, you got a pay rise, and then you also had to do stock take, organising, and deal with complaints, so that was a little more work, but you had been working there for almost a year now, and you knew what to do, most of the time, so it was fine. On the weekends, you'd go and watch Darby practice. It was really good to see him balls deep in volleyball again. You could tell he loved it, and he seemed to have planted himself into the team really well. One afternoon, you turned up just in time to see the team members pulling names out of a hat to practice with each other. Darby and Fueji, the coach called. The look on Darby's face said it all, and Fueji could feel the tension from where he was standing down the line a bit. Lucky me, I get to practice with the great ace. I wonder what His Highness will teach me today, he asked sarcastically to no one in particular, as he swept his light grey hair back with his fingers as he smirked at Darby. Maybe today I'll teach you to beg and roll over like the good dog that you are, Darby replied dryly, making a few of the teammates smirk. This made Fueji prickle with annoyance, and his golden green eyes narrowed a bit. It didn't matter how many insults he threw at Darby, the spiky-haired ravenet always had a comeback. Play nice, the coach warned to the 2 alpha boys, sending them further down the court to practice overhead passes to each other. Darby was practicing his height and direction when passing, whereas Fueji was supposed to be practicing the same, but was sending the ball everywhere else, on purpose just to make Darby run to get under it. Can you fix your frickin' aim, arsehole? Darby snapped after a while. Fueji seemed pleased that he had managed to upset Darby and grinned as he hit the ball back. Your leg's getting tired, baby, he teased. No, Darby replied, but your stomach is. Huh? Fueji asked, taking his eyes off the ball just as Darby got under it to receive it, but instead of sending it up, he spiked it directly at Fergie's torso, forcing the grey-haired player to grunt loudly and double over with the force. "What's wrong?" Darby asked with zero concern, picking the ball up as it rolled back to him. "Need a break?" "Yeah, me too. You're annoying, and I can do so much better practicing with a brick wall." And with that, he walked off with the ball under his arm, leaving Fergie to hold his stomach and groan. You had witnessed all of this, and got up from your seat to follow Darby and have a talk with him. As much as you found Fergie annoying, you could see just how similar the two were, and somewhere deep down you just felt like Fergie was trying to get accepted by Darby, but his way of trying to get Darby's attention was just annoying, unfortunately. "Hey," you called to Darby as he stepped out. "What?" Darby snapped, turning to look at you. "Hey, calm down, it's just me," you said with your arms raised in surrender. "Sorry, that Fergie dick has really got under my skin. I love being on a pro team, but he really rubs me the wrong way," Darby growled, throwing the volleyball at the wall and catching the fast rebound. "Have you even tried to give him a chance?" you asked gently. "I think he just wants you to accept him. That's the feeling that I get, because I've seen him..." "Give him a chance? Give him a chance? Have you even heard the guy? Just straight up embarrasses himself with his idiotic comments. Screw him. I'm not giving him any chances. The hell." "Baby," he said gently with a sympathetic smile. "I know he's annoying. I've seen him in action. But you know what? I do actually see a lot of him in you, and vice versa. You're pretty similar." "Take offence to that," Darby grunted with a pissed look on his face. "We're nothing alike. He's a giant dick, and I have a giant dick." "I can literally hear him saying something like that," he chuckled, gently placing a hand on Darby's arm. Darby threw the ball against the wall again, and then grunted with annoyance. "I can see your point," he said tersely, like he didn't want to admit it. "I don't know how, but if you let him in a little bit, he might get better. I don't know how you would do that with your pride still intact," you hummed, patting his arm again and then turning back to the gym. "Anyway, I'm going back in. You'll have to explain to the coach why you walked out on practice." Darby grunted again but didn't follow you. He was already thinking over what you'd said. As you walked back inside, you looked around for Fergie. He was still where Darby had left him, and although he was trying to hide it, he looked very dejected, tossing the ball sullenly up against the wall. "Ugh, I don't get guys. Why do they act so childish at times? Why are guys considered tough and crap? They're nothing but toddlers in men's clothing." You shook your head and went and sat back down on the bench seat. A few minutes later, Darby came in, and Fergie saw him, and immediately his whole form lifted. His aim became better and his movements more fluid, but Darby didn't even acknowledge his existence as he headed across the court. Instead of going back to practice, Darby walked over to the coach and had a chat, and then got his bag and left. Fergie looked crestfallen again, and watched the irked Ravenette leave, and then walk over to another guy on the team and ask to join them. That's when you left as well and caught up to Darby at the car. "Couldn't handle the heat?" you asked as you hopped into the passenger seat. "I just want to go home," he grunted. "Okay," you shrugged. Darby didn't try and initiate anything with Fergie over the next few practice sessions. It was quite opposite, in fact. He ignored him altogether, not even reacting to his annoying comments or quips. The next time you attended a practice session, Fergie was very much subdued. He didn't have his usual spark and his plays were off, so much so that the coach pulled him from the practice match and benched him. After the game, Darby walked off to get his drink bottle and was midway through gulping the water down when Fergie called out to him. "Bet you think you're better than me, because you played a full game," he shouted at the unaware Darby. Darby calmly finished his drink and threw the empty bottle into his gym bag before slinging the bag up over a sweaty shoulder and then calmly turning to look Fergie in the eye. There was silence as everyone watched to see what Darby would say, but he just let the silence hang, making the embarrassment weigh heavier over Fergie's head. When Darby didn't say anything, Fergie tried to taunt him into retaliating. "You too good to talk to me?" he asked condescendingly, stretching back on the seat with his arms up behind his head to make himself appear bigger. Darby just snorted, and then turned and left without saying a word, and you got up and followed him out, still wondering what the heck was up Fergie's ass and why he was acting this way. "Dude, what's your deal?" you heard another player ask Fergie as you left. "What?" Fergie shot back. "He thinks he's so good because he's the captain of the Nakoma team. So what? Bro, he plays well, and he's never even tried to use his past successes to gain leverage. You're just jealous that he got ace status immediately and you didn't," the player rebutted. You smiled to yourself. At least the other players can see that Fergie's a dick and Darby's not. "Did you hear the guys standing up for you?" you asked Darby as you jogged to catch up to him. "I'm going to leave the team," Darby stated. "What? No, why? Don't leave, you love volleyball. This is the best thing for you," you begged. "Yeah, I love volleyball. I don't love guys who are full of themselves and make stupid comments 24/7, he replied angrily, yanking his car door open as he got in and threw his bag at the back. Please, don't leave, you begged again, hopping into the passenger side. Screw him, Darby grunted. I'm out. You sighed unhappily, but didn't fight him on it. You had seen how Fueji had treated Darby, and you couldn't blame him for not wanting to be around that. The next day you gave Darby a kiss before he left for practice, and then you got ready for work and headed in. You had only just gotten behind the counter when none other than Fueji walked in. Oh, fancy seeing you here, you said with a half-pissed look on your face. He looked at you, and then looked down at the floor and froze. Darby here? He asked. No, of course not, he's at practice. But because of you, he's decided to leave the team. He... what? Fueji asked, looking up at you, eyes wide with concern. No, he can't leave the team. Well, he is. Why are you such a dick to him? Honestly, what has he done to you? Nothing, Fueji said, looking back down again and pushing his hands into his pockets while looking off to the side. He's done nothing. Then why are you like this? Don't even try and deny how you treat him. I heard the guys telling you off last night as well, he said angrily. I know, he said with annoyance. I know, okay? Then stop, you said with exasperation. Listen, Fueji snapped. He's frickin' amazing, okay? I've seen him play. I saw him play when he was at Nakoma, and hell, it's not fair. If I could play half as good as him, I'd be laughing. So you're jealous then? You're admitting you're jealous? Yeah, so? He snapped defensively. I frickin' admire him as well. He's like no other player I've ever seen before. He looked up into your eyes, and suddenly you understood all of his frustration. I can't believe I get to be on the same team as him. This is like some kind of childhood dream come true. But I don't know what to do with that excitement. It's okay, you said to him, stopping him so that he didn't have to admit it all to you. But why aren't you practicing tonight then? Why don't you tell him all this? Tell him? He roared, laughing. You're insane. I'd never tell him any of this. I look pathetic enough. It's not pathetic to tell someone you admire them. What is pathetic is what you're doing now, you said, crossing your arms with annoyance. I can feel a best friends arc coming on. Stay tuned for chapter 60 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.